and welcome to this video from the PT Ninja series, where we're going to be looking at how you can manage subscriptions inside PT Distinction. Videos on this channel, we've looked at what different payment providers you can use with PT Distinction and how you can actually take payment. We haven't really talked too much about subscription payments and how you can actually manage subscriptions inside PT Distinction. What I mean by this is, let's say you sign up a client, they sign up to a subscription payment, whether that's through PayPal, whether that's through Stripe, whether that's through any kind of payment provider that you want to use, but their payment fails. What happens then? Do you have to go there and manage those payments, go back into PTD, switch off that client's activity inside their account? Or is there a way you can automate this so if the payment fails, everything is managed inside PTD for you? And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today inside this video. So first of all, the good news is, yes, it can be managed inside PT Distinction, and there are two ways to do that. One is using the Premade Packages. The other is using Zapier, and we're going to discuss both of those today, and I'm going to show you how you can actually set these up as well inside your PTD account. So first of all, let's look at the Premade Package way. You're going to head into your PT Distinction account, head to Account, and go to Premade Packages. Now, if you're not sure how to set up Premade Packages, I put a link around this video exactly how to set up your packages inside PT Distinction. So I'm going to go on the assumption you already have your packages set up. Now, when using Premade Packages for this particular purpose, for subscriptions, you're going to have to use PayPal in order to make that work. So I'm going to head down here. We're going to head to our membership package here. I'm going to click View and Edit. So we've already got this package set up in here. And in the Sell Online section, we're going to use the With Sign Up Form option. So even though we're going to be using PayPal here, you can technically use this PayPal option here. If you watch any of my previous training videos, whenever I talk about Premade Packages, these are the two options I always recommend you go for. And it's the With Sign Up Form using a PayPal integration that's going to give you the most flexibility and the best outcome for your clients. So you're going to select this option here, and down here in this box, you're going to put in your subscription PayPal button. So if you can't remember how to do this, you can go and check back some of the previous videos, and again, I'll link some around this video as well. But basically with PayPal, you're going to use a standard PayPal button, and you're going to use a subscription version for it. Once you've got that set up, you're going to take the PayPal code, you're going to paste it into this box. Once you've got it into this box, you're going to head over to the advanced options. And down here, you can choose the extend access by. So depending on what period of time you would like the subscription to run for, let's say it's going to be monthly, you could switch it to every 1 month. However, what I recommend you do is always give the client a few weeks leeway, at least a week or so. So I'm going to say every 6 weeks. This accounts for shorter months and for longer months. So let me explain exactly what this extend access means. This means that if you're using a PayPal button with a recurring subscription payment, you can actually set how much to extend the client's access after each payment is received. So for example, if a payment was received today, it would mean that the client will get a further 6 weeks access to the program. If another payment is received within that 6 weeks, another 6 weeks will be added on again every time a payment is actually made. If a client misses a payment and that payment is not made within that 6 week period, when it gets to the end of that 6 weeks, the client will be moved to an offline client or a print-only client, which means all the content will still remain inside their account, but they'll no longer have access to anything. They won't be able to log into the app. They won't be able to log into any of your client portals. They won't be able to access any part of your program. The other cool thing about that is they won't count towards your client quota inside PTD, so there's no risk of you being charged for them if they don't make any payment to you. So that's how you can set up using PayPal. What happens if you want to use something else? What happens if you're using the likes of Stripe? What happens if you're using GoCarless? What happens if you're using any other payment provider out there? Well, when it comes to other payment providers, your best option is to use Zapier. Now, whether a payment software or payment provider will allow you to actually stop the subscription from running inside PT Distinction will depend on whether they have a Zapier integration available or not. So I'm going to use Kartra in my example here, but I'm going to discuss some of the other options as well in terms of how to actually set it up. For example, you could use Stripe or you could use Thrivecart, lots of different options out there. So I'm going to close this off. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you actually have your Premade package set up inside PT Distinction. And then we're going to head over into Zapier. Now, in other videos, we've talked about how to use Zapier to take payments. You may want to use Zapier to take payment if you're doing this type of setup, though it is not a requirement. You could, if you wanted to, take payment in a different way, adding a client in any way you wanted to, and they can be added to those packages in any way you wanted to as well. Doesn't really matter. All this Zap is going to do here in this particular setup is stop the client from having access to anything. It's going to shift them to a print-only client or an offline client. What we're going to do inside here now is set it up so that when a payment fails inside your payment software, that is going to trigger Zapier to tell P-Distinction to move the client to print-only or offline. So to do that, you're going to go and click Create Zap in the top corner. You're going to put in whatever payment provider it is you want to use. This is going to be your trigger. So it could be Kartra, which I can use in this example, but it could also be the likes of Stripe. It could be Thrivecart. Lots of different options here. Just make sure whatever service it is you use to take payment, they have the Zapier integration for this to work. Now, there's also some other limitations here as well. Not all payment providers will actually have a trigger set up inside Zapier that allows you to tell Zapier that a payment has not been made or a payment's been failed. The majority do, but there are a few ones out there that don't. So just bear that in mind. Make sure you check these when looking for the actual software you want to use. The other thing I mentioned whilst we're talking about this and talking about Zapier is making sure you use the right tools for the right job. Every software that you use inside your business is literally a tool to help you serve a purpose. A lot of things we see over at PT Ninja, especially with our Done For You service, is a lot of our clients who we work with, a lot of the personal trainers and coaches we work with will have all these different softwares and they want to use this. And they feel because they've already purchased this or they've already bought this or they've heard this over here or they've heard that over there, that this is the software they need to use. That's not always the case. One of the things we try and do when we're doing our Platinum Done For You service especially is we look at exactly what it is you want to happen. What is the end goal? What is the outcome? And then we look at trying to find the right tools for the right job and the best tools for the best job, and we'll recommend those. Sometimes that might mean using different software. A lot of the time, it means that we can actually get rid of a lot of the other softwares you're using and paying for, effectively saving you quite a bit of money per month, not having to pay for these other softwares, and still give you the outcome that you actually want in a more efficient way. This will be much better for you as a coach, making life easier for you, but it also makes it better for your clients because it gives them a better experience as well. So just bear that in mind when you're thinking about what type of software to use. Look at what features it is you want to have. And when it comes to things like this, you want to be looking for, can it actually manage subscriptions? And does it work with Zapier? And if it does work with Zapier, does it actually allow Zapier to be told if a subscription payment has failed? They're the three key things you want to be looking for a payment provider if you're looking at doing this particular setup. So as I mentioned, I'm going to use Kartra because this is what we use over at PT Ninja. Inside here, you can see there's lots of different options inside here. Not all of them have these type of options in here. You want to pick the one that allows you to do the action you want to do. So the way this works inside here, we have a customer cancels a subscription. We also have other options inside here that allow for payments to be failed and things like that. Now, because in Kartra, there's two ways for a client or a customer to actually cancel a subscription. The best way to do it, I think, is to use this one. And that's because a customer can cancel their subscription with this particular payment provider, but also the software, we have it set up so that it will automatically cancel the subscription if a payment actually fails. So by using this option here, it gives us the best of both worlds. A client can cancel it automatically, and if they miss a payment, it will cancel it automatically as well. So it actually takes away a lot of that heavy lifting for you. Again, like I mentioned earlier, when it comes to using tools and systems, not all payment systems will allow that to happen. It all just depends on what it is you want to use. For example, I know with Stripe inside here, if a customer cancels it, you can do that the same sort of thing. But with other software, such as Thrivecart, you won't be able to have that option there. So it just depends on what kind of software you want to use and what you want the outcome to be. For example, here, if you didn't want your clients to cancel themselves, you want them to contact you, it wouldn't be a big issue. If you wanted it so your clients have the option to go in and cancel and everything happens automatically, then you might want to be looking for that type of feature. So just something to bear in mind when you're thinking about what to use. But anyway, for this example, this is the one I'm going to use as a trigger. I'm going to hit continue. He'll ask you to choose your account. And like I've kind of mentioned before when we've done Zapier stuff here, if you haven't got your account connected, it will prompt you to connect your account at this point. Once you've done that, hit continue. and they'll ask you to go and set up your trigger. Again, depending on what type of software you're using for this will depend on what things it's asking you to do. So just follow the instructions on here, depending on what software it is you want to use. So inside here, I'm going to pick up the actual one I want to do, which is example membership offer. I'm going to pick up the products inside here. There we go. I'm going to choose the price point inside here as well. I'm going to say any price, doesn't really matter. Click continue, and I can test the trigger. So there we go. We have a test one. We know it's actually working inside your account. Again, just bear in mind with some software, with Kartra, it automatically creates a test account for you to use inside Zapier. Just bear in mind with some other software that won't be the case. You might have to run a test client through it. So for example, Stripe would be a good example of this. You'd have to run a test client through that, or a test customer through that, in order to see if this actually works and to test it out. Definitely recommend doing that and testing out every step inside Zapier. The art of the videos that we do available inside the YouTube channel that talks about actually using Zapier in more detail and exactly what things to think about when using this with PT distinction. Anyway, for now, that's all set up and ready to go. I can go and hit continue. So now we have our trigger set up. The next thing we want to do is set up the action, which is on the PT distinction side. So I'm going to go and type in PT distinction. Click on here. First thing I do is choose the event. So down here I have a number of different events. The one we're going to go for here is put client print only. So we're going to click on here, click continue. Choose the account. Once again, if you haven't got an account connected, you can connect at this point. You'll be prompted to go and do that. And you're going to set up the action. So inside here, you're going to have to enter the email address. And this needs to be the client's email address that they use to log into their PT distinction account. It must match. Now, this is kind of what we talked about earlier, where if you wanted to, you could use Zapier alongside this to set up your clients inside PTD. As I mentioned, you don't actually need to do that if you don't want to. The biggest advantage of doing that, though, is if you're using the same payment software and that client then logs in to cancel it, or the payment fails, you know that the email address in the payment software that the client originally paid with will actually be the email address inside PT distinction. So there are some advantages of actually using Zapier to set up payments and to take payments and to onboard clients and to put them into Premade Packages, especially if you're going to use this system that we're talking about in this particular video. It helps with continuity. It helps keep everything the same. And as you'll see in some of my other videos when I talk about Zapier, that continuity between everything is probably the most important thing when it comes to using Zapier. So I would recommend, if you are going to use this, that you also use Zapier to add in your clients as well. Just bear in mind, if you are using Zapier to add into your clients, you'll not be able to use the free version of Zapier because it's going to require something called a multi-step Zap. You can find out more about that in the other videos. And again, I'll link this into the blog post that goes with this particular video. However, for this particular setup, you can do this with the free one if you really wanted to. So inside here, we're going to go in and we're going to look in the options down here. Select all options. I'm going to look for the client's email address, which is here. Drop that in, and then hit continue. Now, at this point, it's going to ask me to go and test this inside PTD. The chances are it's probably not going to work because I don't think this client is actually set up inside PTD. So we can skip test if you want to, or you can click test and continue to see if it actually will work. The chances are it's not going to work, and an error is going to pop up and tell me that the client cannot be found. So the information cannot be found inside here, which is completely fine. I expected that to happen. Now, if you're doing this and you don't expect that to happen, what you can do is see what the error is, and you can click troubleshoot error, and it'll actually tell you down here information about that particular error. I know that 400 error just means it can't find the actual details. So it's expecting an email address, but can't find it, which is kind of what I was expecting to happen. So I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to click skip test here, and I can turn on my Zap. Once I've turned on my Zap, I can give it a name in the top corner. And all that means now is that when a client cancels their subscription payments or their payment fails, they're going to automatically be moved to print only or an offline client inside PT distinction. And there you go. That's pretty much how you get it all set up inside Zapier. Well, I hope that all helps. I hope that makes sense to you inside there. Like I say, we have two different options to do it. One is using PayPal directly into a pre-made package. Again, just a reminder, you would actually set up the sell in the sell online section in the with sign up form. put in your PayPal subscription button. In the advanced sections, you can set up what period of time you want each payment to give them access for, and it'll cut them off if they don't make payment in that time. And of course, that'll work whether they miss payment or whether they cancel the payment themselves inside PayPal. The other option is using Zapier, as we've just demonstrated, where you can go inside Zapier, use whatever payment provider you like. Again, making sure that it does have a Zapier integration, it has the features that you need, making sure it's the right tool for the right job, and then have that set up with another Zap for P2 distinction that's going to shift the client to print only should that Zap get triggered. All right, that's it from me. Again, if you need any extra more help and support or have any questions, please let us know in the comments. There'll be somewhere around this video. And if you want some help with setting up your P2D account and mastering your online fitness business, please come and check out p2dninja.com. We've got loads of free content there to try and help and support you wherever we can. You can also access the masterclasses in university from there. Or if you want to really take it to the next level, come and check out the P2 Ninja 101 course, where we take you through exactly how to master and grow your online fitness business and give you everything you need to really make the most of P2 distinction and your fitness business online, including a huge white label library, all the content that you'll ever need to actually run those services online. And we take you through a proven system that you can plug and play into your account. And on top of that, we'll also show you how you can actually generate more leads, sell those leads, plug them into your account, and really grow your online fitness business. And if you want to take it even a little bit step further than that one, we have our Done For You service, where you can sit down with me and the team. We'll find out exactly what it is you want to set up and what it is you want to do, and we'll go and do that for you. That's all the content inside your account. We can even take your content and we can also make it applicable for P2 distinction, build everything out for you, create things for you if you need to, do any advanced integrations, do any advanced automations, and build a system very specific for your setup and for your clients. And again, if you want to find out more about that, head over to the P2 Ninja website at p2ninja.com. And of course, you can book in for a call and have a chat with me or any of the team. If you've got any questions about our services or want to find out whether we're able to help you in your journey to become a successful online personal trainer. All right, see you all soon. Bye-bye.